This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
And welcome everyone to episode 29 of the 5-Star Match Game. I'm your humble host, Joe Gagney. Today we are revisiting the Japanese wrestling scene throughout the decade of the 1990s. So this episode is only available on a 5th generation cassette, and the opening rounds will be clipped. But with such a wide-ranging show, we need a powerhouse panel, which is what we have today. Up first is a returning champion from the Noah episode, the biggest fan of the Miami Marlins I know, and the only fan of the Miami Marlins I know. It's JoJo Remy. JoJo, how you doing?
Production and so on point. Good to see you. Good to talk to you again, Joe.
Yes, and I know our good friend Alan Cunahan is still a little salty about that Noah episode. Someone mentioned your name once. He was like, JoJo Remy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he'll get me at some point. I think we'll see how I do today, but I'm not feeling too confident. We'll see.
Oh, well all right. Exciting. All right, up next, the co-host of the Emerald Flow Show right here on the Voices of Wrestling Network, one of my favorite shows, excellent show about the Japanese wrestling scene. He may have gone into shock seeing the crowds All Japan drew in the 1990s. It's Gerard Di Trolio. Gerard, how you doing?
Hey, Joe. Absolute honor to be here. Big fan of the show.
Excellent. Thank you. Last but never least is a returning contestant and maybe former pro wrestler. He stepped away for the ring for a bit just to prepare for this show. It's Dan Makabe. Daniel, how you doing?
Yeah, that's exactly the timing worked out perfectly. I'm taking a sabbatical from wrestling, so I can do nothing but trivia podcasts. So I'm doing good. You put out the call like seemingly like a year ago that you were going to do this episode in the near future, and this seems like maybe the one topic that I felt confident in that I could do okay at. So I let you know that I was interested, and here we are. So,
all right, excellent. So we have 5 rounds of super exciting trivia covering all the companies in Japan of the 1990s. It's All Japan to Zippang. So, well, there's no Zippang questions. Don't worry about that. But we move on to round 1. More songs about buildings and moves. This is a new game. There's nothing about moves. I just want to be clever. But for this round, I will give you a show or a match. You tell me the building where it took place. So if I said Misawa Pins Jumbo in 1990, hopefully you respond the Budokan. Everyone gets 5 questions. Correct answers worth 1 point apiece. JoJo, you're up first. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. You get the Michinoku Pro These Days show.
Sumo Hall.
Sumo Hall is correct. All right, Gerard, you get the Skydiving J show.
Budokan?
Budokan is correct. You are on the board. All right, Dan, you get the IWA King of the Deathmatch tournament, the famous one.
Kawasaki Stadium.
Kawasaki Stadium is correct. Everyone perfect so far. JoJo, back to you. You get the WWF All Japan Joint Show from 1990.
Tokyo
Tokyo Dome is correct. Gerard, you get both Super J Cups.
Sumo Hall?
Sumo Hall is correct. All right, Daniel, you get the first Toryumon Japan show.
Corkin Hall?
Corkin Hall is correct. All right, JoJo, back to you. You get All Japan Women's Dream Slam.
I knew it was going to come. It came pretty quick. Said Tokyo Dome.
Oh, it was Yokohama Arena. All right, Gerard, you get the Funk Onita Barbed Wire Bomb match from 1993.
Kawasaki Stadium?
That was also Kawasaki Stadium. It's correct. All right, Dan, you get the Antonio Inoki Retirement Show in 98.
Tokyo Dome.
Tokyo Dome is correct. All right, JoJo, back to you. You get Kawada pins Misawa in a one-on-one match for the first time.
Budokan?
Budokan is correct. All right, Gerard, you get the famed Kobashi Kikuchi versus Can-Am's match in 92.
Sendai Sun Plaza?
That was Prefectural Sports Center. All right, Dan, you get the first war show.
Ooh, I'm not sure about this. We'll go with Budokan.
Oh, it was actually just Corkin Hall.
Oh, wow.
All right, JoJo, your final question. Takada beats Vader for the UWFI title.
Budokan.
Oh, Nagoya Rainbow Hall. That's right. All right, Gerard, your final. The first Big Japan show.
Corkin Hall?
Nope, that was the Yokohama Bunka Arena. All right, and Dan, finally for you, the J Crown Finals.
Sumo Hall.
Sumo Hall is correct. All right, so the end of the first round, we have Dan in the lead with 4, JoJo and Gerard right behind with 3 apiece. As we move to round number 2, it was a very good year. For this game, I'll give you a match or event. You tell me the year where it took place. So if I said 6/4/94, I hope and pray you would respond 1994. Everyone gets 5 questions. Correct answers are worth 1 point apiece. Gerard, you're up first. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right, you get the first Big Japan show.
1995.
95 is correct. All right, Dan, you get the first DDT show.
1998?
Oh, it was 97. So close. All right, JoJo, you get the first Michinoku Pro show.
1992.
Oh, so close. 93. All right, Gerard, back to you. The first war show.
1992.
92 is correct. All right, Dan, you get the first Battle Arts show.
Oh, God, I should get this. Oh, 1996?
It's correct. All right, JoJo, you get Japan Women's Pro Wrestling splits into LLPW and JWP.
You're killing me with 2 Joshi questions. E4.
Oh, it's 92, unfortunately. All right, Gerard, you get Atsushi Onita retires after the Hayabusa match.
95.
95 is correct. All right, Dan, you get the NWA title is on the line in the G1 Climax.
1992.
92 is correct. All right, JoJo, you get Kawada pins Masawa in a match for the first time.
97.
That was 95, the tag match. All right, Gerard, back to you. Cactus Jack wrestles in the Champion Carnival.
91.
91 is correct. Wow. Dan, you get the first Champion Carnival of the decade.
1991.
91 is correct. All right, JoJo, you get Chono's last G1 win of the decade.
95.
Oh, it's 94. All right, Gerard, you get one of the 3 years a foreigner won the Champion Carnival. So it's 3 possible answers here.
Well, I will go for sure. I know 92 and 93. Hansen won them both.
That's correct. Other was Vader in 99. All right, Dan, your final question. You get the first Best of the Super Junior, not the top, where they changed the name to the Best.
94.
94 is correct. All right, JoJo, your final one. Ring's only 5-star match.
98.
98 is correct. Tamura versus Kosaka. All right, as I add up the scores there, Gerard with a perfect round of 5. He and Dan are tied at 8. JoJo behind with 4, with plenty of game left to play. As we head to round 3. Round 3, my favorite personal round, list them and learn. For this game, I'll give you a category. We'll say the number of wrestlers that wrestled for All Japan in the 90s. We'll say there were 200 of them. Player 1 will say how many they can name off the top of their head, say 80. Then it switches to Player 2, who can say they can name more or challenge Player 1. If you say you can name more, it doesn't have to be an increase of 1. You can name as many as you like. It goes back and forth until someone is challenged, at which point the challenge player has to name the correct number of names. Do so, you get 2 points. Make any error, your opponent gets 2 points. Everyone will get 2 questions with a chance to go first and also challenge. All right, JoJo, you're in 3rd place right now, so you get the choice of topic. We have 1 question about All Japan, there's 1 about New Japan, and there's 1 that's a bit more of a potpourri.
New Japan.
All right, going New Japan. All right, this will be for you and Gerard. So 21 men can say they went to the finals of a G1 or top/best of the Super Juniors in the 1990s. How many can you name?
20.
20, wow, 22, or 21. So, Gerard, do you want to go for it all, or do you challenge JoJo?
I'm going to challenge JoJo.
Yeah, I think that's the smart play. All right, we need 20 names.
Jushin Thunder Liger.
Jushin Thunder Liger went to a bunch of G1 finals. That's correct.
Kanemoto.
Kanemoto gives you 2.
Samurai.
El Samurai gives you 3.
Wild Pegasus.
Wild Pegasus, Chris Benoit gives you 4.
Jonah.
Chono gives you a bunch of G1s. That gives you 5.
Shinya Hashimoto.
Hashimoto gives you 6.
Muto.
Muto, of course, gives you 7.
I'm thinking of a match. I don't know if I think it was. Dr. Wagner Jr.
Oh, the good doctor went to the finals of the Best of Super Juniors in 98. Gives you 8.
Let's go Tenru.
Tenru.
Was that not a G1 final?
I don't think that was a G1 final.
It was a quarterfinal, the one you're thinking
Quarterfinal.
of.
I wasn't going to get 20 either way, so.
All right, so that is 2 points to Gerard. Just some names. Black Tiger 2 went to the finals in 96 of the Super Junior. Hiroshi Hase, the G1 in 93. Kazuo Yamazaki, G1 98. Tenzan 97. Kendo Kashin, Best of Super Juniors 99. Kensuke Sasaki, finals of the G1. Nakanishi, G1 99. Rick Rude in 92. Choshu in 96. Shinjiro Otani, Super Juniors 95. Super Delphin 94. And Tatsumi Fujinami in 93. So 2 points to Gerard. All right, up next we have Gerard and Dan. So we have All Japan and a potpourri of sorts. So Gerard, what was your choice here?
I'm going to go with All Japan.
Okay, this will be fun. All Japan in the 90s might be the most acclaimed wrestling of all time. 17 men can say they wrestled a match in All Japan in the 90s that was awarded 5 stars by Dave Meltzer. How many can you name?
Let's say 10.
10. All right, Dan.
I'll go with 12.
12.
I'll go 14.
14.
I'm sure there's some outliers that are going to be hard to pick up, but let's say 15.
Oof.
Can I challenge Daniel?
To name 15, you certainly can.
Okay, go for it, Daniel.
Okay, let's get some easy ones out of the way. Mitsuharu Misawa.
Of course, gives 23 of them. That gives you 1.
Kenta Kobashi.
Kobashi gives you 2.
Toshiaki Kawada.
Kawada gives you 3.
Akira Taue.
Gives you 4. So you got the pillars.
Jun Akiyama.
Akiyama gives you 5.
Jumbo Tsuruta.
Jumbo gives you 6.
Tsuyoshi Kikuchi.
Kikuchi gives you 7.
Dan Crawford.
Dan Crawford gives you 8.
Doug Furness.
Gives you 9.
Okay. What are other? Steve Williams.
Steve Williams gives you 10. We need 5 more.
Did he give this match 5 stars? Oh, this is a 5-star match, but I don't know if Dave gave it. Masafuchi.
Masafuchi gives you 11.
Okay, so then that means Yoshinari Ogawa.
Ogawa gives you 12. Need 3 more.
There's another tag I'm thinking of in 96. I don't know if he gave it 5 stars, but it won match of the year in the Observer, I'm pretty sure. So Johnny Ace.
Johnny Ace gives you 13.
Okay, what am I missing? Are there any natives that I'm forgetting? I don't think he has any 5 stars. Oh boy, this is where I knew I was going to hit a roadblock. I don't think either of these guys do, but these are the only 2 names I'm coming up with. So Stan Hansen.
Stan Hansen did have 93 match.
Oh, Kobashi. Yeah, okay.
All right, we got 1 more.
Oh, the name that's coming to my head, I don't think he has one, but I'm blanking otherwise, so I'm going to go with Terry Gordy.
Oh, I'm sorry. He is not on the list. Oh, I'm very sorry. Names you missed. Giant Baba had one in 94.
Oh, it's a 6-man. I was thinking Baba was in one of those 6-mans too.
We also had 2 names from the same match. Only had one. Taman Honda and Satoru Asako had one in January of 95. That was a 6-man.
Never would have pulled those 2.
Oh, that was that's heartbreaking, I have to say. All right, but you and JoJo both have a chance to get on the board here. because we have the final question for you, Daniel. You'll be going first. The Super J-Cups were seminal shows in the 90s. 22 men could say they competed in one or both of the 94 and 95 J-Cups. How many can you name?
This was one of the things that I studied leading up to this. On the off chance that I forget a couple, I'm going to say 20.
20. All right, JoJo.
I mean, I got to go for it. I'll go.
Oh, it's going for it. You going to do all of them?
I try.
All right, let's do it.
Great Sasuke.
All right, Great Sasuke gives you 1.
Pegasus.
Gives you a 2.
Ani.
Otani gives you 3.
Taka Michinoku.
Taka gives you 4.
Geto.
Geto gives you 5.
Motegi.
Yes, absolutely. I thought that'd be one of the last names said, but that gives you 6.
Samurai.
Now, Samurai gives you 7.
Naniwa.
Gran Naniwa gives you 8.
Jericho.
Jericho Lionheart gives you 9.
Ricky Fuji.
Ricky Fuji gives you 10.
I want to say, well, I know one for sure was in 2000, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah, this is just the 90s versions.
Well, let's go Hayabusa.
Hayabusa gives you up to 11. You're halfway there.
Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero gives you 12.
I can think of like the undercard matches on the non-tournament matches in the 95 J Cup for some reason. That's throwing me off. There was one who was there who wasn't in that undercard match, so I'm going to go Damien.
Damien, yes. That gives you 13.
What do I need?
You need 9 more.
Let's get it going here. So, I mean, I can't think of a Kanemoto match, so I'm going to go Funaki.
Funaki, yes. That gives you 14.
I can't think of any All Japan guys that were in it. Any other indie dudes? There must be. Okay, let's just go with the ones I don't think are right. Koji Kanemoto.
Oh, I'm sorry. He was not a participant in the J-Cups. Names you do not say. Dean Malenko in 94. Dos Caras, 95. Hanzo Nakajima in 95. Jushin Liger, both years. Masaki Mochizuki in 95. Negro Casas, 94. Super Delphin, 94. And Ultimo Dragon in 95. So at the end of that round, we have JoJo with 4. Dan in second place with 10. Gerard with 12. As we head to round 4, it's an honor to be nominated. A new game. The Wrestling Observer Awards are an excellent snapshot of the decade. For this game, I'll give you a question about the awards, either requiring a name or federation. So if I said an American wrestler who won the Brawling Award for their work in Japan, you'd hopefully respond Stan Hansen or Cactus Jack. Remember, this is all about the 90s, so everyone gets 5 questions. Correct answers are worth 1 point apiece. Dan, you're up first. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, the only pillar that did not win Wrestler of the Year.
Taue.
Taue is correct. All right, JoJo, you get the only Joshi to win the most outstanding wrestler.
Toyota.
Manami Toyota in 95 is correct. All right, Gerard, you get the wrestler who won Tag Team of the Year with 3 different partners.
Misawa?
Misawa is correct. It was Kawada in 91, Kobashi 95, and then Akiyama in 96 and 97. Dan, you have the only Japanese wrestler to win Rookie of the Year in that decade.
Akiyama?
Akiyama 93 is correct. JoJo, you have the only Japanese wrestler to win Most Charismatic.
Chono.
That was Onita in 94. All right, Gerard. Get one match of the year, 2 straight years in the 90s. It was Misawa versus who?
Kobashi?
Kobashi's correct. It was 98, 99. All right, Dan, you get the only Japanese federation that won Best Feud. And it was 2 years in a row.
I'll go All Japan Pro Wrestling.
All Japan's right. It was Jumbo versus Misawa, and then Jumbo and Friends versus Misawa and Friends. All right, JoJo, you get the only Japanese wrestler besides Liger who won Best Flying Wrestler. It was 94.
Hayabusa.
Oh, it was Sasuke in 94. All right, Gerard, you have the only Joshi Fed that had the match of the year. It was 2 different years.
All Japan Women's?
All Japan Women is correct, 93 and 95. All right. Dan, you have one of 2 Japanese men to win Best Booker.
Giant Baba.
Baba's correct. Joshi was the other is correct. All right, JoJo, you have one of 4 Japanese men to win Best Technical Wrestler.
Yuji Nagata.
No, I'm sorry, he did not. It was Liger, Hase, Tamura, and Otani. Each one in different years. All right, Gerard, you have the only New Japan team to win Best Tag Team. It was 1998.
Chono and Tenzon?
That was Otani to Kiowa. That's when they set up the junior tag belts. They had a run. All right, Dan, your final question. The company that won Best Promotion the most in the 1990s.
I'll go All Japan Pro Wrestling.
No, New Japan, actually. They won it 5 times in the decade. All right, JoJo, your final question. The only Japanese company to win Most Disgusting Promotional Tactic.
SWS.
That's actually FMW for the bringing in an invader for a stabbing angle. All right, and Gerard, your final question. The only Japanese company to host the worst match of the year.
New Japan?
New Japan is correct. It was Sting-Tony Palmora match in 95. All right, so at the end of round 4, we have Gerard in the lead with 16, Dan with 14, right behind JoJo with 5 as we head to our final game, the sprint. I will ask each of you individually 10 fill-in-the-blank questions in a row. Correct answers with 1 point apiece. If you're not sure, just guess. We do not go back. So, JoJo, you are up first. Are you ready? Are you ready?
I am.
Okay. British legend Blank worked his last match at the Michinoku Pro These Days show.
Johnny Saint.
Oh, it's actually Dynamite Kid. Wings stood for blank.
I don't know.
It's Wrestling International New Generations. Monkey Magic Wakita went on to fame as blank.
Super Delphin.
Super Delphin is correct. Satoshi Kojima and Manabu Nakanishi teamed in New Japan as blank.
Wild Child.
That was Bull Powers. Terry Funk had a stable in FMW where the FMW stood for blank.
Masters of Wrestling.
Funk Masters of Wrestling is correct. Scott Footsy and the Warlord won the War 6-man titles with former WWF champion blank.
Yokozuna.
Oh, it's Bob Backlund. When Kai and Tai competed in ECW, they were part of the blank.
BWO.
BWO is correct. Blank had the longest IWGP title reign of the 90s.
Hashimoto.
Hashimoto is correct. Kira Hokuto and Suzuki Minami teamed together in All Japan Women as blank.
Don't know.
Marine Wolves. And finally, Magomedkan Amanalevich Gamzatanikov is the real name of blank.
Volkan.
Volkan is correct. I'm sure I annihilated that pronunciation. You had 5 correct answers. You are at 10 points right now. All right, Dan, as you are in second place, you are up next. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Alexander Otska had the incredible nickname of blank.
Diet Butcher.
Diet Butcher is correct. Early on, Shima used the last name of blank when competing.
Nobunaga.
Nobunaga is correct. Manabu Nakanishi used the ring name of blank while on excursion.
Kurosawa.
Kurosawa is correct. Hercules and Scott Norton teamed as blank in New Japan.
Oh, Jurassic Powers.
Jurassic Powers is correct. Blank versus blank worked the bonus match at J-Cup 95.
Rey Mysterio Jr. versus Psychosis.
Is correct. Shiro Koshinaka led a stable called Blank during the 90s, primarily in New Japan.
Oh, this is wrong. What the hell is that called? Pass.
Oh, it's Heishi Ishigun.
Yes.
All right, the Headhunters were known individually as blank and blank.
A and B.
A and B is correct. Tenryu and Koji Katao faced blank at WrestleMania 7.
Oh, Demolition.
Demolition's correct. Hulk Hogan got in trouble during an interview for New Japan in 1993 by saying blank.
Oh, was it something disparaging about the WWF title not being as legit as the IWGP title?
It was a toy, that's correct. And lastly, War went from standing for Wrestling and Romance to blank.
Wrestle Association R.
Which also makes no sense, but you are correct. Ooh, what a run. The 9 correct answers, that gives you 23. You are in the lead. All right, Gerard, so situation is you need 7 to tie, 8 to win. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, here we go. The famed Muto scale came in a match against blank.
Hiroshi Hase?
Correct. Men's Teo competed under the name of blank early on, a tribute to his wrestling hero.
Terry Boy.
Terry Boy is correct. Super World of Sport was backed by a blank company.
Eyeglasses.
Eyeglasses is correct. Great Sasuke famously roughed up British wrestler blank.
Oh, I thought this name would come up, and it did. Dirt Bike Kid.
Dirt Bike Kid is correct. Blank was the only major men's promotion to not participate in the weekly Pro Wrestling Dome show in 1995.
War.
War is correct. Mike Awesome competed as blank in FMW.
The Gladiator.
Gladiator is correct. Bulldog KT and Cooley SC went on to compete as blank.
Ghetto and Jado.
Correct. Blank was the last of the four pillars to win the Champion Carnival, albeit not in the 90s.
Kobashi.
Kobashi is correct. WCW versus New Japan was the theme of the 1995 blank show.
Starcade.
Starcade is correct, and Yoshihiro Takayama and Takao Omori competed under the tag team name of blank.
No Fear.
I need the correct pronunciation.
No Fear? I don't...
No Fear is correct. You are correct. Gerard, you ran the table for a perfect 10. That gives you 26 points. You are the champion of today's 5-star match game.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. I was really nervous. And it's funny because I was studying like the All Asia tag title history and stuff.
I don't think it came up at all. Barely came up at all. What a performance by you. Excellent job all around. Very good job by everyone there. Because there's no real thing to study. This was covering all bases. So excellent job by everyone here. And as always, I keep a tiebreaker in my back pocket in case it was not needed today, but we can play it if anyone wants to, because I'm not going to have a chance to use this again. If Dan and JoJo and Gerard, if you want to play, we can certainly do that.
Let's do it.
All right. How many Triple Crown matches were there in the 1990s? All right, so we have Dan with 75. Gerard guessed 77. JoJo guessed 106. The correct answer, surprisingly, it's only 58. For some years, they had only 4 Triple Crown matches, very surprisingly. But yes, so by that logic, Dan, everyone went over, but Dan, you came the closest, so you picked up the tiebreaker. Gerard, you were the winner, so you get to plug whatever you wish.
Yeah, so I co-host with Paul Vosh on the Voices of Wrestling podcasting network, the Emerald Flow Show. We cover mainly All Japan and Pro Wrestling Noah, but we also dive into like the big DDT shows and even 01 whenever it does manage to make tape. And I don't know when this episode's coming out, but we're going to be recording an episode soon covering the All Japan 50th anniversary show, the Korakuen Hall show after it, and of course Noah's big show of Keno versus Kaito Kiyomiya on September 25th. And you can read all of my coverage of All Japan at voicesofwrestling.com.
Absolutely. I'm an ardent listener of the show. If you like All Japan and Noah and they cover DDT, as well as anything going on in Japan, it's well worth a listen. So, Dan, what do you have going on these days?
Not a whole heck of a lot.
All right.
Yeah. For anyone who's not familiar, I stepped away for the time being due to a back injury. If you've been listening all this time and you're not aware, I am an independent pro wrestler based in the west coast of Canada. But yeah, I stepped away for the time being due to a back injury that I suffered in June. No real time frame on coming back. Hoping for spring 2023. There's definitely a couple irons in the fire for some matches that would be very cool. So some things I can't say no to, and at a minimum, I'd like to have a couple more matches here in the Northwest, here in Vancouver and Seattle. So if you're not already following me, follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Daniel Makabe. That's the best place to find out about what I'm doing, whether it's in a ring or not. And also I play in a couple bands and stuff, and I talk about music. So if that sounds interesting to you, then give me a follow. And thanks as always for having me on, Joe. I actually looked in the chat history, and the last time I was on, which was a WCW Nitro era show, was exactly we're like 3 or 4 days off from being 3 years to the date.
Oh, wow.
So I'll see you in 2025.
Absolutely. Well, we can hopefully get you on a bit before that. And JoJo, what's going on with you these days?
I mentioned briefly before the show that I'm preparing to get walloped by a hurricane here.
Oh, my.
So that's going on. Baseball season's coming to an end, so that's sad. But yeah, not much, just enjoying being back here in the States. And I like to equate this podcast appearance to Scott Norton's run in Pro Wrestling Masters.
Pro Wrestling Masters reference. Excellent. I can think of no better way to end the show there. And please stay safe, JoJo. And thanks to everyone for listening. I will remind you, the 5-Star Match Game is a proud member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. You can follow us on Twitter at 5-Star Match Game with the number 5, or email us at gmail.com, 5-Star Match Game with the number 5 spelled out. If you want to make a donation to us, you can click the button on our Red Circle page. Appreciate it if you do. No worries if you don't. Our logo was designed by Rich Craich, and the show may be edited for entertainment purposes. And 2 more shows planned for the rest of the year. I will be back in probably October, early November, possibly, with a show about In Your House. So cannot wait for that. That'll be fun. And then our big year-end wrap-up of 2022. So please stay tuned. Thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you next time.